Hello everyone. Welcome back to Learn with us. I am so happy to be here today with all of you.
Hello, Emily, and hello to all of our friends listening at home, at work, or maybe while you are walking outside. It is a beautiful day for a podcast.
It really is, Paul. I feel very energetic today.
Imagine you're standing in your kitchen right now.
Okay,
You're holding a simple metal spoon in your hand.
right. Just a normal spoon.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what if I told you that this basic spoon is actually a better English teacher than a heavy 500-page grammar textbook?
Wow. I mean, it sounds completely backward, doesn't it?
It really does.
We are, so conditioned to think that learning a language requires complex study. We think we have to sit at a desk,
Right.
read dense paragraphs,
Yeah.
and memorize long lists of really difficult vocabulary.
Exactly. But when we do that, the language just feels completely disconnected from our actual lives. So, welcome everyone to today's deep dive. We are so glad you're here with us.
We really are.
Today, we are exploring a really fascinating conversation between two people. Their names are Emily and Paul,
Okay.
and they shared their thoughts on how they use simple English in their daily routines.
And our mission today is to, completely change how you view your daily routine. We want to show you that your real life, the things you touch, the places you go every single day, that is your ultimate textbook for learning English.
Now, a quick note for you, our listener. We know that learning a new language can feel, really stressful.
Oh, totally.
Sometimes native speakers talk incredibly fast, but not today. Today, we are going right back to the basics.
We are.
We were going to speak at a very comfortable, relaxed pace. We will use clear, simple words.
That's right. Whether you are actively studying English or just looking for some gentle listening practice, this is a safe space.
Exactly.
We are going to look at how the physical world around you helps lock new words into your brain.
So if you are holding a coffee cup right now, take a sip. If you are walking, just enjoy the rhythm of your steps. Let's unpack this idea.
Let's do?
But I want to start with a little pushback right away.
Okay, go ahead.
Learning the word for spoon or blanket sounds nice, but how does that actually help an adult have a real conversation? I mean, it feels a bit too simple, doesn't it?
That is a very fair question. It feels simple because, you already know what a spoon is.
Yeah, obviously.
You're an intelligent adult.
Yeah.
You understand how everyday objects work. The mistake adults make is trying to learn complex English thoughts before they master the foundation.
Ah, the foundation, the building blocks.
Exactly. When you learn the English word spoon, you are not learning the concept of a spoon. You are building a new pathway in your brain.
Right, a connection.
Yes. You are training your brain to stop translating from your native language. Instead, you directly connect the physical metal object to the English sound.
Oh, I see.
And once your brain can do that quickly with simple objects, it becomes much easier to do it with complex ideas later.
That makes perfect sense. We have to start with the physical world, so let's start at the very beginning of the day.
The very beginning.
Let's go to the bedroom. It's early morning, it is dark, and Emily tells us that the very first thing she interacts with is her alarm.
Right, the alarm.
Alarm, A-L-A-R-M.
This is where our daily language journey begins. Notice how we interact with this word. We don't just look at it.
No, we take action.
Exactly. In English, we use specific action words, verbs, with this object. We say, set the alarm the night before. And in the morning, the alarm goes off.
That is a great phrase, goes off.
It is very common.
It sounds like a bomb exploding.
Yeah.
Which is, exactly how it feels when you are sleeping peacefully. The alarm goes off.
Yes, it really does. And Paul mentioned something very relatable about this in the source. He says he has a love-hate relationship with his alarm.
A love-hate relationship. I love that. That is a fantastic idiom for our listeners to learn.
It really is.
An idiom is just a phrase that has a special meaning. As adults, we understand this complex feeling perfectly.
Right, because you love the alarm because it keeps you employed.
Exactly. It stops you from being late to work.
But you absolutely hate it because it wakes you up when you are so tired.
And because of that hate, Paul does what, millions of people do every morning. He reaches over and hits the snooze button.
The snooze button, yes.
Snooze. S-N-O-Z-E.
When you hit snooze, the alarm stops, but only for a few minutes. It gives you just a tiny bit more sleep.
Right.
But notice the physical action here. We say hit snooze. We don't usually say push the snooze button. We say hit because in the morning we are usually quite aggressive with our phones.
We definitely are. Hit snooze. It is a physical, emotional reaction, and Emily admits she hits snooze at least twice every morning.
Wow, twice.
Yeah. Why? Because she is under her blanket. She says her blanket is warm and her pillow is soft.
Blanket and pillow. Let's talk about the contrast here. Contrast is a sharp difference.
Right.
You have the harsh, loud noise of the alarm demanding that you wake up. On the other side, you have the blanket and the pillow. These words represent total comfort.
This is exactly where language connects to feeling. If you are learning English, don't just read the word blanket on a page.
No, you have to feel it.
Yes, feel it. When you pull the fabric over your shoulders in bed, say the word blanket in your mind. The physical feeling of warmth will help your memory hold on to the English word.
That is exactly how memory works. You are attaching a physical feeling to a new vocabulary word. The emotion of wanting to stay in bed anchors the words blanket and pillow deep in your brain.
But, well, eventually the alarm wins.
Sadly, yes.
We have to get up. Emily describes the physical shock of getting out of bed. The blanket was warm, but the floor is incredibly cold.
Right, the cold floor.
So she immediately looks for her slippers. Slippers, S-L-I-P-E-R-S.
Slippers are the soft indoor shoes we wear to keep our feet warm. And Paul calls them a must-have.
A must-have.
Yes, a must-have is a great, simple phrase. It just means something is absolutely necessary. You must have it.
Slippers are definitely a must-have on a cold morning. So once the slippers are on, the physical location changes. We leave the bedroom and enter the bathroom.
The bathroom.
And this space has its own specific set of actions and tools.
It does. Paul says his first stop is the bathroom sink. He needs to brush his teeth. And here we meet two wonderful English compound words.
Oh, I love compound words.
They are great. The words are toothbrush and toothpaste.
A compound word is when you take two small words and stick them together to make a new word. It is like building with blocks.
Right.
You take a tooth, you take a brush, you put them together, and you get toothbrush.
English is full of these. Toothpaste is the exact same. The paste or the cleaning cream for your tooth.
Right.
What makes these words powerful for a learner is how frequently you use them. I mean, you pick up your toothbrush twice a day, every single day of your life.
That means you have two opportunities every day to practice your English without even opening a book.
Exactly.
Pick up the tool and think toothbrush.
But
Put the cream on it and think toothpaste. It is effortless practice.
And while Paul is brushing his teeth, he looks up. He looks into the mirror.
The mirror.
Yeah.
M-I-R-O-R. The glass that reflects your face.
Right. Paul says that in the morning, his hair is messy, he looks tired, and he uses a very common English phrase to describe this moment.
Oh, I know this one. He says, the mirror doesn't lie.
Yes.
I absolutely love this phrase. It is so descriptive.
It is a wonderful example of how English gives human actions to objects. A mirror is just glass. It cannot speak. It cannot tell a lie or tell the truth.
Right. It's just an object.
But we say the mirror doesn't lie to mean that it shows us reality exactly as it is, even if we really don't like it.
As an adult learner, learning phrases like the mirror doesn't lie makes your English sound so much more natural. It moves you past basic vocabulary and right into the rhythm of how native speakers actually talk.
Exactly. So we have survived the wake-up routine. Our face is washed, our teeth are brushed, and the slippers are on.
Good job to us.
Now the body needs fuel. We move to a room that is absolutely packed with essential vocabulary.
Yes, we are heading into the kitchen. The kitchen is really the heart of the daily routine. It is full of sounds, smells, and some very interesting language quirks.
It definitely is. Paul and Emily have a debate in the source material about their morning drinks. Paul is a coffee drinker. He goes straight for the coffee maker.
Okay.
But Emily prefers tea, so she uses the kettle. Kettle, K-E-T-T-T-L-E.
Let's talk about the word kettle. It is a special metal pot used only for boiling water, but the pronunciation is interesting, isn't it?
It is.
It has a double T in the middle, but native speakers often say it very quickly.
Yes, depending on where you are from, the double T can sound very soft.
Mm-hmm.
In American English, it almost sounds like a quick D, kettle.
Kettle, right.
But in British English, it's a very sharp T, kettle. As a beginner learner, you don't need to worry too much about copying the exact sound perfectly. Just be aware that it might sound a little different depending on who is talking.
That's a great tip. What matters more are the verbs we use with it. Emily says she loves the sound of the kettle. She loves the sound of the water boiling.
Boiling.
Boiling water. That is when the water gets so hot it bubbles and creates steam. We boil water in a kettle.
Right. And we brew coffee in a coffee maker. Brew is a specific verb for making coffee or tea by mixing hot water with beans or leaves.
Boil water.
Yeah.
Brew coffee. These are excellent verb and noun pairings. We call these collocations words that naturally live together in a language.
Exactly. Now, after the hot drink is ready, it is time for food. Paul opens the fridge. Fridge is short for refrigerator.
Right. The large cold machine that keeps food fresh.
Yes. Paul usually grabs eggs. Emily, however, prefers cold cereal.
And to eat cereal, Emily needs specific tools. She needs a bowl and a spoon.
Right.
This brings us to a very important point about adult language learning. We know you know what a spoon is, but let's look at the 4 essential eating tools in English.
Let's list them very clearly. Bowl, spoon, fork, knife.
You use these items every day, but let's look at the language quirk here. Think about how we group these words together. If you go to a restaurant and sit down, what do you ask the waiter for?
You ask for a knife and fork.
Exactly. Notice the order. We almost always say knife and fork. We rarely say fork and knife.
Right. It sounds slightly strange to a native speaker's ear.
It is a fixed pair, just like we say black and white instead of white and black, or salt and pepper instead of pepper and salt.
Yes. When you are learning English, noticing these fixed pairs makes a huge difference. You are not just learning the words, you are learning the music of the language.
Knife and fork. It has a nice rhythm to it. So Emily uses her spoon and bowl to eat her cereal. When she is finished, the tools are dirty. They must be cleaned.
Right. She takes the dirty bowl and spoon to the sink. The sink is the basin with the water tap. She washes them, dries them, and then she puts them away.
And where does she put them?
She puts them in the cupboard.
Cupboard. This is one of my favorite funny English words. Let's look closely at this word because it is a perfect example of how language changes over time.
It really is. If you look at the spelling, it is C-U-P-B-O-A-R-D. It's another compound word. Cup plus board.
A board for cups. And, hundreds of years ago, that is exactly what it was. It was just a flat piece of wood on the wall where people put their drinking cups.
Right. But over time, people added walls to the board, then they added doors. It became a whole cabinet.
And we stopped putting only cups in it. Now we open the cupboard and put plates, bowls, foods, spices, and absolutely everything else inside.
Yes. The object changed completely, but we kept the old name.
And the pronunciation changed, too. This is a very common trap for beginner learners. Because they see the word cup and the word board, they try to pronounce both words clearly. Cupboard.
But native speakers are lazy. We like to blend sounds together to make speaking faster and easier. We drop the P sound completely. It becomes cupboard.
Cupboard.
Yes, cupboard.
So the next time you are in your kitchen putting a plate away, think to yourself, I am putting this in the cupboard. Don't worry about the spelling when you are speaking. Just focus on the sound.
This is exactly why your home is the best textbook. A textbook will just give you a vocabulary list. But standing in your kitchen, physically touching a spoon and putting it in the cupboard, connects the sound to reality.
So, the breakfast is finished, the kitchen is clean. Now the energy of the morning routine suddenly changes. The quiet, sleepy feeling is gone.
It is time to leave the house.
Yes, it is time for the departure.
Leaving the house is often the most stressful part of the morning.
Yeah.
You are watching the clock, you have a deadline to get to work, and this stress introduces a very specific set of vocabulary.
The vocabulary of lost things.
Yes.
Emily admits in the source material that she is always losing her keys. Keys. K-E-Y-S. The small metal pieces used to unlock doors.
Notice the verbs we use when we are stressed. We don't just say, where are my keys? We say, I am searching for my keys. I've misplaced my keys, or I need to grab my keys.
Grab. That means to pick something up very quickly.
Right. Grab your keys, we are late. That is a sentence heard in houses all over the world.
Oh, absolutely.
Paul says he does the exact same thing. He searches everywhere. He looks on the kitchen counter, he looks in his bag, and he checks his coat pockets.
Let's talk about checking pockets. You pat your clothes with your hands to feel what is inside. It is a universal human habit. And Paul describes how he manages this morning panic. He uses a checklist.
Yes, the source material calls it a little song. He sings to himself before he opens the front door. He taps his pockets and says, phone, wallet, keys.
Phone, wallet, keys. It is the modern survival checklist.
It really is.
The wallet is the small folding case where you keep your money and credit cards. The phone is your connection to the world, and the keys let you back into your house later.
What I find fascinating here is the rhythm. Phone, wallet, keys. It is a chant. When we are stressed, simple rhythmic language calms us down. It organizes our brain.
And for a language learner, rhythm is incredibly helpful. If you can attach English words to a physical rhythm like tapping your pockets, your brain remembers the words much faster.
Right, the physical movement locks the vocabulary in place.
Try it tomorrow morning. Before you walk out the door, tap your pockets and say the English words out loud. Phone, wallet, keys. It takes 2 seconds, but it is a powerful practice.
That is a great idea. Once the essentials are in your pockets, you walk out the door. Now begins the journey to work.
Right.
This daily journey has a special name in English. It is called the commute. Commute. C-O-M-M-U-T-E.
The commute. You can commute by car, by train, by bus, or by walking. The source outlines 2 different methods. Paul likes to walk to the bus stop.
Walking is a slow commute. It allows you to interact with the environment. Paul says he notices the trees, the houses, and the neighborhood.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
And because he's walking, he uses social language. He says good morning to his neighbors.
But Emily talks about a different experience. She talks about taking the bus. When you take a bus, you enter a system, and systems require specific vocabulary.
Exactly. You don't just go on a bus, you catch the bus. That is the collocation.
Right, you catch it.
And if you are late, you miss the bus. And to ride the bus, you need permission.
Emily says she uses a bus pass, or she pays with coins. A pass is a card that proves you paid. Coins are the small metal money. Scan your pass or pay your fare.
Yes. Whether you walk, drive, or take the bus, the commute eventually ends, and it brings you to a completely new environment. We leave the outside world, and we step into the workplace.
The workplace, the office. The vocabulary here shifts dramatically from natural things like trees and neighbors to technology and responsibilities.
It does. Paul arrives at his office and goes to his desk. A desk is simply a table designed for working, but the most important object on that desk is the computer.
Let's look at the parts of the computer that Paul mentions. He talks about the screen, the keyboard, and the mouse.
The screen is the glass monitor where you see your work. The keyboard is the board with all the letters and numbers you type on the keyboard.
Right.
But the third item is the most linguistically interesting.
The mouse. Mouse. M-O-U-S-E.
Paul makes a great point in the source. He remembers being a child. When he was a child, a mouse was only one thing. It was a small, furry animal with a long tail that ate cheese and ran away from cats.
But today, when an adult says mouse in an office, they are not talking about an animal at all.
No, they are not.
They are talking about a piece of plastic they hold in their hand to click on a screen.
This is a perfect example of what linguists call a semantic shift. It means the meaning of a word changes or expands over time. When early computers were invented, they needed a name for this new plastic tool.
And the tool was small, round, and had a long wire connecting it to the computer. The wire looked exactly like a tail, so someone said, "It looks like a mouse," and the name stuck.
It is a beautiful reminder that English is not a dead language locked in a dictionary. It is alive. It grows and adapts to human needs.
Yeah.
When technology changes, we don't always invent new, complicated words. Sometimes we just borrow a simple word from nature and give it a new job.
That brings up an interesting question, actually. We talked earlier about how the blanket and pillow give us a feeling of comfort. Does the workplace vocabulary give us feelings, too?
Yes, definitely.
Thanks. Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next one.
Bye for now. Keep practicing and have a wonderful day.